My name is Georgia Webb, and I turned 18 on a Saturday in late September. I'd been counting down to that day for 3 years straight, not because I was excited to vote, or buy lottery tickets, or do any of the things people pretend matter when you turn 18. I was counting because that was the day my parents legally lost the right to drag me back home if I decided to disappear. From the outside, my family looked flawless. Two-story craftsman house, white trim, perfect hedges my father trimmed every Saturday like it was a religion. From the curb, we looked put together, stable, the kind of family neighbors trusted with spare keys and holiday cards. Inside, though, it felt like I was the thing they wished they could hide. My younger brother, Evan Bowen, is 2 years younger than me, and he's been the favorite since the moment he took his first breath. My mom lost 3 pregnancies before him, so when he survived, he became their miracle, their second chance. I was just the kid they had before they figured out what they actually wanted. If Evan wrecked something, they asked him if he needed therapy. If I left a wet towel on the bathroom floor, I got a 45-minute lecture about responsibility that ended with my dad asking if I'd been raised by wolves. So I learned how to exist quietly. Light footsteps, no complaints. Anticipate everything before they asked, so I wouldn't remind them I was there. My dad had this look he gave me sometimes, like my presence alone annoyed him. My mom was worse. She smiled when she hurt me. "Evan's just naturally gifted, sweetie," she'd say. "You have to work twice as hard to keep up." Translation, you will never be enough. I tried anyway. I kept decent grades, worked part-time at the local hardware store after school, loading mulch and concrete mix until my arms burned. I saved every dollar because I already knew college wasn't happening on their dime. Whenever my dad talked about my future, he'd grunt, "You'll figure it out. You're resourceful." Evan got a brand new gaming laptop at 16 for school. He mostly used it to stream videos until 3 in the morning. When I asked to borrow it once for college research, my mom said to ask Evan. He laughed and told me to get my own. End of discussion. So when my 18th birthday rolled around, I didn't expect much. Maybe a grocery store cake. Maybe a card with $20. Maybe a sentence that acknowledged I existed. I woke up around 10:30 and went downstairs. My dad was tying a silver ribbon around a sleek black box on the kitchen counter. Evan was bouncing on his heels like it was Christmas morning. My mom stood nearby with her phone already up, that fake camera-ready smile glued to her face. No one looked at me. Not once. "Oh, perfect timing," my mom finally said when she noticed me standing there. "Evan, go ahead." I froze. Evan ripped the box open and pulled out a stainless steel watch with a leather band, the kind you see in magazine ads for cologne and luxury cars, the kind that cost more than 3 months of my paychecks. "Yo, this is sick," he grinned, sliding it onto his wrist. "Now I don't have to keep stealing yours, Dad." My dad laughed and ruffled his hair. "You earned it, champ. We're proud of you." Earned it. The biggest thing Evan had accomplished that month was making JV basketball and not getting suspended for vaping in the locker room. I stood there waiting for someone to look at me, to say happy birthday, to remember why today mattered. My mom glanced over and must have seen something on my face. "Don't look so bitter, Georgia. Life isn't about material things. When you're older, you'll understand that character matters more than gifts." It felt like getting punched in the chest. "I thought we were having cake," I said quietly. "Oh," Evan said without looking up. "We already did." I blinked. "You had cake without me?" "It was just a small thing," my mom rushed. "Nothing big. Don't make a scene." Evan smirked. "Your name was on it. Guess you missed it." My dad snapped. "It's just a cake, Georgia. Stop being dramatic." Something inside my head snapped, clean and sharp, like a wire breaking. I looked at Evan, at the watch, at the hoodie he was wearing, the one I bought with my own money 3 months ago that he never gave back. "You know what?" I said, my voice louder than I meant it to be. "This is pathetic." Evan's face flushed. "What's your problem?" "My problem?" I laughed, and it came out wrong. "It's my birthday, and I'm watching you get rewarded for existing while they can't even remember what day it is." "Georgia," my mom warned, "that's enough." "No," I said, "it's never been enough." That's when my dad moved. Fast. He grabbed me by the shirt and slammed me into the refrigerator. My head cracked against the stainless steel. Everything went white. "You're done," he said, voice low and cold. "You hear me? Done." I shoved him back harder than I ever had before. His eyes went wide. I had never fought back, never raised my voice. "Touch me again," I said quietly, "and I'll make you regret it." He hit me anyway. Once. Twice. In the ribs. I doubled over, gasping. My mom screamed. Evan just stood there, watching. My dad grabbed my face and forced me to look at him. "We're done celebrating a failure like you," he said. "You're a mistake." A mistake. I straightened up, ribs screaming, tasting blood in my mouth. I looked at all three of them. My mom's fake tears, Evan clutching his watch, my dad breathing hard. And I understood something with terrifying clarity. They were never going to love me. So I made a choice. That night, I packed a backpack with a hoodie, socks, granola bars, my charger, my ID, and the $180 I'd been saving in an envelope taped under my desk. At 2 a.m., while they slept peacefully, I walked out the back door. I didn't have a plan. I just knew I'd rather sleep anywhere else than spend another night in that house. I didn't look back when I closed the door. I didn't pause at the end of the driveway. Didn't stand there wondering if someone would wake up and call my name. I just walked. Quiet, steady, heart hammering so hard it felt like it might give me away. It was almost 2 a.m. The neighborhood was dead silent. Porch lights glowing like watchful eyes. I kept my head down and cut through the side street toward the bus stop, my backpack light but heavy with everything I had left. I didn't have a plan. I just knew staying was no longer an option. The first night, I sat in a 24-hour diner off Route 12 and ordered the cheapest thing on the menu, a coffee I refilled until the waitress started giving me looks. I stretched it out for hours, pretending I belonged there, pretending I wasn't 18 and newly homeless. When the breakfast crowd started rolling in, I left. The second night, I slept sitting upright on a bench behind the YMCA. I learned quickly how to curl inward, how to keep my backpack wrapped around one arm so no one could grab it. I learned to wake up at every sound. Footsteps, coughs, sirens. Fear has a smell, cold metal and stale air. It settles into your clothes. By the third night, my hoodie smelled like sweat and rain. I rotated between the public library until closing, a gas station bathroom to wash my face, and whichever bus route ran all night so I could sit without being questioned. I learned which vending machines were most likely to double drop if you hit them just right, which gas stations had soap that didn't burn your skin, which security guards looked the other way. On the fourth day, I almost got caught. I was walking past the strip mall to charge my phone at the library when I saw it, my dad's truck turning into the parking lot. Same dents, same license plate frame. My brain went ice cold. I ducked behind a vending machine near the laundromat entrance and stood there pretending to scroll on my phone, heart pounding so hard I was sure he could hear it. I watched him get out, scanning the lot like he owned it, jaw clenched, shoulders tight. He didn't see me. But I learned something then. Disappearing isn't just leaving. It's staying gone when you're 5 seconds from being dragged back. By night 5, my phone was nearly dead. My stomach aching from gas station protein bars, my nerves frayed thin. That's when I found the church downtown. They ran a shelter out of the basement. Nothing fancy. Cots, donated blankets, and hot meals 3 times a week. The guy at intake was an older man with gray hair and eyes that looked like they'd seen too much, but still chose kindness. He didn't ask questions when I showed up with a busted lip and a backpack. Just nodded. "Empty cots in the back," he said. I slept for 11 hours straight. Those first days at the shelter rewired something in me. I learned how to sleep light, how to spot trouble before it spotted you, how to stretch $3 into 2 meals. During the day, I walked to the library and filled out job applications on public computers, restaurants, retail, warehouses, delivery services, anything that would take someone with a high school diploma and no safety net. About a week in, my phone started buzzing. My dad. First voicemail was furious. Threats. Demands. The second was confused. By the fourth, he was crying. "Your room's still here, Georgia," he said. "Please come home. We can talk." I deleted every message without listening past the first sentence. What was I supposed to say? That I preferred a church basement to a house where I was called a mistake? Eventually, I landed a job at a medical supply distribution center off Highway 47. Huge place. Long shifts. Minimum wage with overtime if you were willing to bleed for it. The operations manager looked me up and down during the interview. "You show up. You work. You don't steal. That's the deal." "I can do that," I said. I started the next morning. After 2 weeks sleeping on a cot, I ran into the intake guy again outside the church. He was unloading donated blankets from his car. We talked for a few minutes, and that's when he mentioned the shed. Converted storage space behind his house. Bare bones. Cheap. "How cheap?" I asked. $120 a week, he said, utilities included. I moved in the next day. It wasn't much. A twin mattress on a metal frame, a space heater that only worked if you didn't breathe on it wrong, a microwave, a hot plate. It smelled like oil and old paper. But it was warm. It was private. It was mine. I worked 40+ hours a week, sometimes Saturdays when they needed extra hands. I didn't complain, didn't call in sick. I showed up early and stayed late. 6 weeks in, the manager moved me to inventory control. Less lifting, more thinking. He didn't explain why. At night, I walked to the library and worked on community college applications. Typed essays on my phone. Printed them 15 cents at a time. Every application fee hurt, but I paid them anyway. I didn't tell my parents, didn't tell anyone. By December, I had a routine. Work, library, shed, sleep, repeat. It felt strange, like I was actually building something real, and I had no idea yet that they were trying to tear it down. By early December, I thought I'd finally found my footing. Not happiness, nothing that dramatic. Just stability. Predictable shifts at the distribution center, familiar faces, a place to sleep where I could lock the door and not flinch at every sound. I was careful not to hope too much. Hope felt dangerous. During my lunch breaks, I sat in my car or on a loading dock step and checked my email, refreshing obsessively. College decisions didn't come all at once. They trickled in. Requests for transcripts, confirmation emails, application and portals that felt like fragile promises. I'd done everything quietly, carefully, or so I thought. One afternoon, as I was clocking out, my phone buzzed with an email from my high school counselor. "Georgia, I hope this finds you safe. I wanted to inform you that your transcript request has been canceled. Your parents contacted the school administrator and stated you would not be pursuing higher education. They requested we cease all correspondence regarding college applications." I read it once, then again, then 5 more times, waiting for it to change. My hands were shaking when I called her back. She sounded uncomfortable, apologetic. "They contacted us about 3 weeks ago," she said gently. "They told us you changed your mind." 3 weeks. While I was sleeping in a church basement, while I was rationing food, while I was working double shifts to afford application fees. Some deadlines had already passed. A state grant I'd been eligible for, gone. I spent the next 3 days in damage control. Phone calls, emails, documentation, shelter letters, proof of self-support. The counselor helped where she could, but some doors don't reopen once they're slammed shut. That night, I sat on the edge of my mattress in the shed and stared at the wall until the heater clicked off. That was the moment I stopped feeling sad. They weren't just done with me. They were trying to stop me. Winter hit hard. The shed barely held heat. I slept in layers, socks doubled, breath fogging the air. Work ramped up during the holidays. Long shifts, aching hands, raw skin. Every extra hour was tuition money. Somewhere in all that exhaustion, I started learning. The manager rotated me into logistics coordination. I noticed patterns, bottlenecks. I taught myself Excel at the library, watched free tutorials on my phone. One night, the inventory system crashed minutes before a major shipment. Panic everywhere. I glanced at the screen and recognized the error. "Try reloading yesterday's backup," I said quietly. 15 minutes later, the system was live. The manager stared at me like he was seeing me for the first time. By late December, I'd saved enough for spring tuition. Then the acceptance emails came. All 3 programs, plus a partial need-based grant. I stared at the word congratulations for 2 full hours. That night, I baked myself a boxed chocolate cake in the landlord's kitchen. It was lopsided and slightly burned. I wrote my name in blue icing. Just Georgia. I ate 3 slices. My parents didn't know, but small towns talk. A week later, my mom left a voicemail from an unknown number. "We heard about school," she said sweetly. "That's wonderful. Just remember where you came from." I deleted it. I thought that would be the end. I was wrong. I found out they were selling the house on a Tuesday night. I was sitting on the floor of my apartment, my real apartment now, shared with 2 quiet roommates near campus, highlighting notes for a logistics exam when my phone buzzed. A LinkedIn message from a former neighbor. "Hey, Georgia, not sure if I should mention this, but I thought you had a right to know. Your parents just listed the house for sale. Sign went up yesterday. Hope you're doing okay." I stared at the message longer than I should have. The house. At first I felt nothing, just a hollow pause. Then something colder slid into place. Focus. I opened Zillow. The listing was easy to find. Professional photos, bright lighting, neutral staging, words like charming, lovingly maintained, perfect family home. I scrolled. Living room, kitchen, master bedroom. Then, Evan's office, bonus room. My room. Except it wasn't mine anymore. Beige walls, Generic art, no desk, no posters, no trace I'd ever existed there. They didn't just erase me. They renovated me out. I checked the asking price. Too high. Desperate high. Which made me curious. Public records aren't hard to find if you know where to look. Mortgage history, tax filings, liens. They were behind. 4 months, maybe 5. Then I noticed something else. Permits. Waterproofing. Repeat work orders over several years. Quiet fixes. Cheap patches. None of it disclosed. I waited for the open house. Borrowed a dress shirt from my roommate. Carried a folder so I looked like a serious buyer. The listing agent smiled brightly when I walked up the driveway. "The sellers are very motivated," she said, clicking her pen. "Their youngest just started college out of state." Of course he did. Inside, she talked about crown molding and energy-efficient windows. I barely heard her. When we reached my old room, she gestured proudly. This was their son's gaming and study space. I felt nothing. Not sadness, not anger. Just clarity. In the garage, I saw the bins. Donate old room junk. Trash. Mine. That night, sitting in my car, I made a decision. If they wanted me erased, fine. I'd make sure the truth stayed. Then Evan texted me. First contact in years. Heard you're broke and going to community college. Check this out. Attached photo. My old room. Perfect. Staged. Cleared out all your garbage. Dead weight gone. Stay broke. I didn't reply. I screenshotted. Then I found his social media. Public. Sloppy. Bragging about cheating. Fake volunteer hours. Plagiarism. I saved everything. I called the folder receipts. And I waited. Stop. Continue part 5. Consequences. I didn't rush anything after that. That was the biggest difference between the old me and the person I'd become. Before, I reacted. I flinched. I apologized for taking up space. Now, I waited. I watched timing, the way some people watch weather patterns. Knowing when to move mattered more than how loud you were when you did. October came quietly. The college invited me to speak at their first-generation student showcase. They wanted students who'd navigated life without family support and still succeeded. People who didn't just survive, but stayed. I said yes. The event was campus-wide. Faculty, students, parents. Live-streamed. I practiced my speech alone in my apartment, standing in front of the mirror, rewriting lines until they sounded honest without sounding angry. I talked about invisibility, about sleeping in a church basement, about working full-time and filling out applications on public computers, about learning that independence isn't loneliness, it's freedom. The auditorium was packed. 300 people, maybe more. When I stepped onto that stage, the lights were bright enough that I couldn't see faces clearly, but I knew they were watching. Somewhere out there, my parents were watching too. The college posted the full video that night. By morning, it had been shared dozens of times. Comments poured in. Former classmates, teachers, strangers. Someone forwarded me a screenshot. My mom had commented, "This story is full of exaggerations. Some people don't appreciate everything families sacrifice." Perfect. Defensive, passive-aggressive, public. The same week, I executed phase 2. The buyers of my parents' house were in their final inspection window. That's when the anonymous package went out, sent through a third-party mailing service. Inside, permit histories, HOA minutes, old MLS notes, photos from the open house, documentation of repeated flooding and foundation issues. 4 days later, the listing vanished. The buyers walked. Once an issue like that gets documented, it can't be hidden again. Every future buyer's agent would ask. Every inspector would flag it. Repairs they couldn't afford. The house became a liability. Then came Evan. I sent one email, anonymous, to the admissions integrity offices of his top 3 schools. Nothing dramatic, just screenshots, timestamps, evidence. Not enough to destroy him, enough to put him under review. 2 weeks later, I heard through the small-town grapevine that his top acceptance had been delayed. Scholarship committee wanted clarification. Waiting is its own kind of punishment. By November, everything was quiet. Then they showed up. Tuesday night. I was coming home from work when I saw them standing outside my building. My dad looked smaller, older. My mom wore that tight, controlled smile she used when things were slipping. "Georgia," my dad said, "we need to talk." I didn't step closer. "Now?" I asked. "After the house is unsellable? After Evan's application started falling apart?" Silence. "We didn't know things were this bad," my mom said softly. "You knew," I replied. "You just didn't care." "They asked for help, money, a loan, something temporary." I laughed, not loud, not cruel, just honest. "You don't miss me," I said. You miss the version of me you could use. My dad reached for my arm, not hard, desperate. Don't, I said quietly. He let go. I looked at them one last time. You wanted me gone, I said. Now stay gone. I walked inside and locked the door. That was the last time I saw them. The house went into foreclosure. They moved into a rental. My dad picked up weekend delivery shifts. Evan transferred schools with no scholarship. They sent birthday texts, holiday cards. I never answered. I graduated with honors, got promoted twice, built a life that didn't require shrinking. My real family? They're the ones who never tried to erase me.